Alright lads, welcome back to the channel. Remember a couple of updates ago, Gaijin said that they aren't going to be giving the older MiG-29s the R73s due to balance reason. Well, Gaijin said fuck it and added the MiG-29G to the German tech tree. This, for all intents and purposes, is just a copy and paste of the 9.12, but it now has the R73 missiles equipped. This makes the MiG-29G probably the best MiG currently in the game, and it is one of the better jets at top tier. We have the performance and the nimble airframe of the original MiG-29s, the 9.12 variant, with the enhanced weaponry found on the MiG-29 SMT. You may be wondering why Gaijin just didn't give R73s to the MiG already in the German tech tree. But don't be silly guys, that would mean no one has to buy GE in order to fastly unlock the MiG-29G. Gaijin's whole business model is based on adding minor improvements and putting it for ridiculous amounts of research points, so people just GE it. Anyway, game rant's over, let's go over the MiG-29G. It's coming in the 8th rank of the German tech tree and currently sits at battle rating 12.3 in arcade, realistic and sim. You're going to have to be forking out quite a lot of golden eagles, because its research is 410,000 RP points. You could of course grind this out if you've got a lifetime to spare. You may also have to take out a small loan of $1 million, in this case 1,100,000 silver lions. That of course is to purchase the plane itself. We then also have a crew train cost of 310,000 silver lions, and very importantly the expert and ace qualifications is going to cost you another 1,100,000 silver lions, and for the ace quali it's 3,600 golden eagles. It's very important in top tier jet matches to actually have a very highly trained crew, as you are constantly pulling G and you're basically just going to black out in modern top tier jets. So you do need to purchase at least the expert crew in my opinion. For the rewards we have a base RP modifier of 2.56, and for the silver lion modifier it is 3.2. So boys, is it worth grinding out the 400,000 RP to unlock this glorified R73 carrier? And do you want to know the plane's strengths and weaknesses? Well, if you do boys, stick around for the rest of the video. Alright boys, welcome back. As always, going to start with the engine and the performance of the plane. We're powered by two Klimov RD33 Series 2 engines. These are different to the engines found on the SMT and the 912. They produce 10 kilograms of thrust more per engine. Nothing spectacular really. 10 kilograms of thrust is basically completely unnoticeable. So with clean wings, this plane has a top speed of over 2,400 kilometers per hour at an altitude of 14,000 meters. Quite impressive, but unless you're planning to visit the International Space Station, you aren't really going to be going up that high. It's also getting, well, it's basically begging to get clapped by an R27ER or an AIM-7M. On the deck though, the MiG-29G is very fast. You can get up to speed of around Mach 1.34, something like that. Maybe not at sea level, but this is an incredibly fast plane. The only thing that's going to be catching you is the F111, I think. We also have a climb rate of 315 meters per second, again with clean wings. If we put on a full weapon loadout though, that goes down to around 255 meters per second, as 6 missiles on, well, carrying a missile on all of your hard points drops your rate of climb by 60 meters per second. Regardless though, both the clean wing and the loadout version, 255 meters per second climb rate is very, very good for this battle rating. The plane in general has a lot of thrust, it's got good dogfight capabilities. As I said, the SMT with its bulkier airframe because of that extra fuel tank, it does add a lot of weight. The MiG-29G though, it just seems like a 9.12 with R73s really. The MiG-29G had a lot of reinforcement in its airframe which added a lot of weight. This thing doesn't have it, so as I said, we've got the best of the flight model and we've got the best of the weaponry. It'd be kind of like giving the... It's kind of like Gaijin giving the F-16 ADF, AIM-7Ms and AIM-9Ms. It's like the best airframe combined with the best missiles. Gaijin think that's fine, not really sure why, but hey ho. Taking a quick look at our pilot, and we have CCIP for our cannons, rockets and bombs, as well as CCRP and the EEGS, the electronic gun sight. This gives you a little pipper on the UI which basically shows you where to aim if you have an enemy locked within about 1 kilometer. We also have a helmet mounted display. This allows us to get a lock off bore sight with both IR missiles and our radar. This helmet mounted display in combination with the R-73 missiles are incredibly potent and arguably is the biggest strength of this plane. The radar of the MiG-29G is the number 19E. This has quite a limited search zone, only looking 30 degrees either side of the nose. However, once you get a lock, this zone increases dramatically, so you can crank you can crank a lot in this plane. It's just when you are looking for an enemy, before you get a lock, it's quite a narrow search cone of the radar. This radar has 3 modes. We have pulse Doppler, track while scan, and pulse Doppler head-on. We also have IFF for the sim players, as well as ACM modes, and an IRST. Like all of the other MiG-29s, we have the main gun. It is the 30mm GSH 30-1. This thing hits like Tyson in his prime, but its only downside is the 150 rounds of ammunition. With a fire rate of over 800 rounds per minute, you will chew through this ammunition incredibly quickly, so trigger discipline is very, very needed in this jet. For the ammunition of the gun, I would recommend you use the ground target belts for pretty much all engagements. This belt features armor-piercing tracer as well as armor-piercing high explosive rounds. The latter of these rounds has a post-pen explosive filler, which causes massive internal damage to anything you penetrate. The air target belt for comparison only uses armor-piercing tracer and high explosive fragmentary incendiary rounds. While it does give you potent damage to enemy planes, the APHE in the ground target belt also has the same effect, and you still also have a tracer. So there's literally no reason not to use the ground target belt in my opinion. We then come on to the biggest downside of the MiG-29G compared to the SMT, and that is a complete lack of precision guided munitions or guided ground weaponry. The MiG-29G is only equipped with bombs and rockets. We have quite a good selection of both though, ranging from 100 kg to 500 kg, as well as some napalm. For the rockets though, we only have 2 real choices. We have S8 KOs. These are typically found on Soviet helicopters. They travel very quickly at 650 meters per second and can penetrate 420 millimeters of armor. We can upgrade those to the S-24Bs. You only get 1 of these rockets per hardpoint, so they are quite limited. But what you lack in quantity, you make up for arguably in quality. They have a massive 26 kilo warhead which can penetrate 65 millimeters of armor. These are great in ground realistic battles, as if you can hit the top of an enemy main battle tank, you will usually one hit kill it. But then again, there are better options for CAS in the German lineup in my opinion. The German Tornado shares the same battle rating if not lower, and has 4 laser guided bombs. So the MiG-29G is pretty much a dedicated air defense fighter. So what are we going to be using to get air-to-air kills? Well, stock we get 2 R-73 missiles. Pretty decent stock loadout to be honest, better than the other MiG-29 which gets 2 R-60Ms. We can then unlock the R-27R and the R-27T. The R is a radar guided semi-active radar homing missile, and the T is an infrared guiding missile. Both of these missiles have 35 Gs of maximum overload and are considered quite potent in current top tier. We can then also unlock the R-27ER and the ET. The E designation stands for extended range and basically has a more powerful rocket motor, giving it both better top speed, which means you have theoretically better range. The ET is basically a very long range infrared guided missile. It has an all aspect lock of nearly 5 kilometers. But with the current meta in top tier being to pop flares pretty much every couple of seconds, it's not really that great in my opinion. It's going to get flared along the way to the target. So while it does have a niche use, I wouldn't recommend it for an average loadout. On the other hand though, we have the R-27ER. This is an extended range radar guided missile. You're probably aware of this missile because it is the most powerful semi-active radar homing missile currently in War Thunder. While this is the longest range missile in the game, it's still incredibly effective at short range. It has the same 35 Gs of maximum overload and has a maximum speed of 5.8 Mach. So off the rail, this thing is an absolute monster. You can joust with this missile very easily. But again, if the enemy player knows what he's doing, he can just drop to the deck and hug the ground and the missile will not be able to track him. It's good to carry 2 of these missiles in case anyone's retarded at the start of a match and tries to climb to space, as a missile travels so fast that even if they try to notch or crank, they usually don't have enough time to actually get a full notch of your radar. Again, like the ET though, the R27 ERs are becoming more of a niche playstyle. The more people play top tier jets, they are learning basically not to fly head on and not to fly high. So the meta is very much changing to the medium range IR missiles. Which brings us on to our last missile, the R73E. As I said, you get 2 of these stock, and then you can unlock more of them to take on the other 4 hardpoints. So you can take a total of 6 R73s into a battle. These missiles are controllable by your helmet mounted display and do have the IR-CCM capability. Now it's very important to understand how the R73 works, or more importantly the IR-CCM. The R73 uses a very big seeker head. This means it can look quite around itself, but its actual IR seeker cone is very, very small. When this locks onto an enemy jet, the seeker actual head can't really see anything other than the plane itself. This means if you're flying side aspect to an enemy and it pops flares, the missile literally cannot see the flares as the flares are behind the plane. This means the R-73s are incredibly strong in the side aspect, but if an enemy is coming straight towards you or flying away from you, obviously if you pop a flare, the missile seeker will still be able to see it. This is different than the AIM-9M in the American tech tree, which basically turns its seeker off. Basically, the R-73E is only incredibly strong in the side aspect, so don't try to shoot either all aspect or rear aspect, as they will be easily flared. But with the helmet mounted display, off bore sight shots are literally the easiest thing to do in this plane. And again, it is arguably the biggest strength. The dogfight capabilities of the MiG-29G are incredible. You have the small, nimble airframe of the 912, with the enhanced missiles found on the SMT. In terms of the meta, the MiG-29G isn't really changing anything, to be honest. It's kind of just a furball now in top tier jet realistic battles. The skill of pilots or the capabilities of individual planes is kind of redundant, as everyone just takes off, keeps low to the ground, and then merges in the middle of the map, and everyone's usually dead within 1 minute of the merge. So while the plane is fantastic in a dogfight, if Gaijin ever adds a 1v1 duel mode, this thing will be an absolute beast in that. But at the minute, you could literally just have a MiG-21 bis with R-73s and still do very well at top tier. The capabilities, again, of individual jets and pilots doesn't matter really. While the MiG-29G is a big step over the 912 in the previous MiG in the German tech tree, the only really thing new is the R-73 missiles. If you already have the MiG-29 SMT, the G model is nothing new, to be honest. Again, just a little bit more agile. I wouldn't recommend grinding it if you already have the SMT, but if you're a German main and want a good jet, then the MiG-29G is a fantastic little jet. It's just let down by having a shitty meta and Gaijin not knowing how to adapt or add new things to top tier. Anyway, enough rant over. I'd just like to say thank you very much to all my viewers, and especially to my YouTube members, especially Lola Alfonsi, Tans, Doboa LX, Dr. Bob, Tomster013, RS28 Sama, Pumpin, Shlunty, and Van Haler. Thank you very much for your continued support, lads, and as always, thank you very much for watching the video. Be sure to leave a comment down below saying what planes you would like to see me review next, and whether I'm chatting shit and the MiG-29G is absolutely dog shit. Anyway lads, thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.